So here we're going to look at how you can create and print your barcodes for new books that you are adding to your library. So, already logged into a school library system here. I picked Weldon. The main checkout screen, I need to first go to the operations menu and come down to the bottom where it says print barcodes/spine labels. You're able to print either of those types of barcodes from this particular screen. So I've got a handful of books here that have been scanned recently. I'm just going to check the box at the top to select everything. If I didn't want to print some of these, then I could certainly uncheck a couple of these books, and we would not be printing those barcodes. So if maybe I'd already done the first two here at a previous day, I could simply uncheck those and print the rest of them. The start row, start column option we see here is because the barcodes are going to get printed on an Avery label sheet. So this is indicating that the first label will be printed on the first row in the first column. If the previous day I had, say, printed these first two, then I don't want to start at the very beginning of the first row. I would start on the third label of that first row because it already printed the first two. So I'm going to leave it like that. I will continue with the recommended 5160 Avery label sheet. If I needed to modify settings, I could come here to modify either the spine label or the custom barcode label. So if you want to see what's in there, when I click it, I get options like adjusting the font size, changing the font title, whether or not I'm going to include the title at all. Maybe I don't want to include the author because it's putting too much information on the label. Call numbers. And down here, you'll notice one called Barcode Font, and it's called Free 3 of 9. Do not mess with that one. That is the name of the font that we use for barcodes, and if you change that, you won't have any barcodes. So, if I just go back, here's all my stuff, ready to go. I'm not using the custom settings in this case, and I'm going to come across to Print Barcodes, the first option here. Now when I do click that, it generates a barcode file for me. It's going to take a moment, and when it's ready, there we go, downloading, and it is here at the bottom of my screen. It's downloaded to this little spot. There we go. Now when I click that barcodes PDF, of course Chrome is going to try and open it. But I have not actually created barcodes on this machine before. This is in effect a new machine for the library. And so I can see that that did not work out for me at all. So I'm going to go ahead and close that tab. And I'm going to go back. And on the screen here that we get to from going to operations and then printing barcodes, you'll notice at the very bottom it says, if you are having trouble displaying barcodes, you may need to download the barcode font. So I'm going to do that right now by clicking on that option. And it will download for me this little barcode font. Now if I simply click on that, it's going to try and open the font. It's going to show me what they look like. Here's all those little barcode options. And what I need to do is up at the top, click this install button. Alright, by doing that, it's going to let me know, do I want to replace it? Sure, let's do that. Make sure it's current and up to date and everything's working properly. Great. Now, I could hit print barcodes again. I might as well do that now, but the barcode file that I created initially is in my downloads folder, so I could certainly go back and simply open that. Now let's test that. Did it work? I open it here. It's going to open the PDF, and as we look at that, oh look, still numbers. Didn't work. So here's the issue I'm seeing sometimes. Chrome is having trouble using that barcode font. Okay, sure. So I did mention that all of the downloads are going to your downloads folder. Well, I can get to that pretty quickly if I hit the three little dots in the top arrow here. And on this menu, I see the word downloads. That will actually show me in my browser my different downloads that I've got, and includes a little show in folder link. So I'm going to hit that. It's going to open the folder here for me, where I can see all my downloaded files. Now, if for some reason I didn't know where that was, I couldn't get to it, I was staring at, say, my desktop instead, you will notice down the left-hand side there is also a downloads favorite here. It's an automatic favorite. It should always make it easy to find all of my downloads. So, here is my library barcodes. I'm going to double click that. This time when I launch that, it's opening in Adobe Reader, not in Chrome. And Adobe Reader is able to handle this barcode option here. So they're ready to go. They're all laid out the way they need to be on my labels. There's a big empty space at the top because I said to skip some of the first options, the first few rows. So it's started way down here. And when I'm ready, I simply put the labels on my printer, and I'm going to hit that print button. When I do, I get the regular print options coming up. I can make sure that I've chosen the printer I actually want this to go to. And I'll get a little preview over here to let me know what it's going to look like when I do in fact print that. I wouldn't start messing around with too many options here in terms of changing scales and things, because it will mess with the margins that your labels are set up for. So once you've got that screen up, you will be able to print your barcodes. You'll be able to grab those labels and put them on your new books before shelving them.